Welcome to the FVCFFFLFVCFFFVYFFLFFS
2020 episode.
I've lost it. 12?
Oh, good job. Good guess. You used your tools because you went and looked how you could figure it out. Good job.
Well, here we are.
I'm John. That's Aaron the Wolverine. Where's Wolverine?
We have a problem because I don't have either of those up here, so I have to go get them.
No, I got Juggernaut over here. But did you ever find Wolverine's broken claws?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I still got other things have come up. I haven't had a chance to look for it yet.
Priorities, Aaron.
I know.
Speaking of priorities, what is our quick question?
So the quick question for the night is, what is the worst injury that you have ever sustained?
Oh my. There are several.
You want me to go? You want me to go first since this is the first you've heard it? Okay.
And I'll try to come up with something funny.
So I've had a couple of things that were potentially really bad injuries that didn't wind up as being, didn't wind up as being bad injuries. But I'd say the worst one I had was I was about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, I think. And my grandpa did a lot of tractor pulling, where he made his own, they had their own little, like tractor, and they would pull the sled. Well, I would go with them sometimes to the meets, and I was jumping around one time on one of the trailers that pulled them around. Well, there was a gap in it, and I don't know if you can picture the sometimes it had one of those floors that were basically like metal bars that were all crossed, right? Well, I didn't realize that I was stepping into a hole, and I stepped down into it, and one of those metal bars cut my leg from one spot to the other. It was about a 2.5 or 3 inch long cut on my leg. And it not only cut it, it like chunked out a section of it. And
that doesn't sound good.
And I looked down, and the hole in my leg was, a few millimeters deep, and it was just white. It wasn't even bleeding. And it was terrible. That was probably the worst injury I've ever had. I think I had like 40 some stitches in that, but
40 stitches?
I think maybe it was like 28. I don't remember. It was a lot. It was a lot of stitches.
That is a lot of stitches. I just want you to know, though, even though you didn't jump the gap effectively, you're still my hero.
Excellent. I don't know that I actually was trying to jump the gap. I feel like I was running around and like fell in the hole and scraped my leg or something. It's been so long now, I don't remember exactly what happened. All right. What about you?
I don't know if I can compare to 40 stitches, but there have been a lot of harrowing situations, driving 120 miles an hour in a convertible and then deciding to try to stand up in the back seat while my friend's driving. That was
gosh.
Having about 15 people in one car in high school one time and driving somewhere, that's not a good idea.
No, that's terrible.
The easy thing to say would be when I had to tear my ACL at camp. That was fun, nor was the recovery. But the one that could have been worse is when I broke my nose. And I don't have 40 stitches. I've got 12 stitches in my head, but not 40. But they're from 3 occasions. And, of course, when I had the gun pulled on me, that could have been the worst. So if I had to think about it, when I broke my nose, that probably was the worst. So what happened was, do you know this story?
I'm trying to think. I can't, maybe.
So I was just in kindergarten. So I'm like 5 years old, and my brother is 3 years older, so he's 8. So he's jumping around the furniture. So he's jumping from my dad's recliner to the couch to the other chair and back again. Like a crazy animal. And so me being 5 and looking up to my big brother who's 3 years older, there's a lot of change and strength and agility and jumping between a 5 and an 8-year-old. So I'm on my dad's recliner and I jump to go to the couch. So when I saw it in my head, when I saw my brother do it, he's on the recliner, he steps onto the arm of my dad's recliner, then he just jumps and flies across and lands right in the 3 cushions that make up the seats. And of course, he can jump a lot further than I can. So I'm on the armchair, I remember I'm 5, and I jump thinking I'm gonna land onto the 3 pads. But again, this is 1980, so it wasn't like all these gigantic oversized cushion couches. I land nose first on the armrest of the couch on the outside of it. And of course, it's all hard wood. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just hard. So my nose crushes, like I land, seriously, face first, bam, right into the wood that made up the outside of the couch. And 5 years old, I broke my nose. So it could have gone, you know, dangerously that way.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
still I do have a deviated septum, so I can't breathe very well and stuff like that. So that could have been worse. There's a lot of things, but that's what came to my mind.
Man.
I kind of remember the pain a little bit, but they took me to the ER and the doctor said, well, there's nothing we can do for a broken nose. And so I just had to put ice on it and deal with it.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was fun.
Wow.
Not as good as 40 stitches. It sounds like you got attacked by a great white shark or something.
Yeah, it was one of the deepest cuts I've ever seen. But anyway, speaking of awful situations, let's get to the football.
It's not awful for everyone, just us.
Just for most of us. We are not going to have our water bet this week, so we'll have to catch up next week since we're doing it remotely again.
So I'm going to get really wet because I lost a lot, I think.
But
what we are going to do is we're going to get to the Stud Award. And this week's stud, and you know him, you love him. If you don't have him on your team, you know he has capability. If you had to play against him, you probably hate him. If you played against this guy, you give him the Derrick Henry Award because you don't like him. But it is Tyreek Hill. He got 53.4 points, I think, in the men's text group. And he put at one point, Tyreek Hill is on pace for 800 yards in this game.
Yeah.
It was 13 catches, 269 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And you said that sounded like a different position, right?
Yeah, those are quarterback numbers. When you see 269 and 3, that's like a good Aaron Rodgers week right there.
Well, the good news is I have him in the youth league. The bad news is Rick has him in the men's league. But Rick got to enjoy Tyreek Hill. Rick's opponent did not. I got to enjoy Tyreek Hill. Judah, my opponent, did not in the youth league. But Tyreek Hill is this week's stud. Speaking of stud,
the bust for this week is Ezekiel Elliott, our buddy from Dallas, you know, and he had 2.4 points. He had 32 rushing yards, 1 catch for 7 yards, and he had a fumble for -2 yards, which brought him to 2.4 points. Now, I think it's only fitting that my team in the youth league would have it because my team name is the Dallas Cowboys offense. And so why not go down with Zeke? And I just want to acknowledge Judah for trading him to me since he's been complete crap ever since he traded. I don't feel terrible, though, because who I traded him hasn't been much better. So, you know, it was an even trade.
An even garbage trade.
It was been a garbage trade all around. So we might as well have kept who we had. So I had him in the youth league. But, you know, Judah had him in the men's league. So good for him because in the men's league, he didn't do very much for him there. And so, you know, Judah got to enjoy Zeke on a number of different levels. So now for our honorable mentions, a lot of quarterback busts this week. Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Cam Newton, and I'm even going to give one to Kyler Murray because he had 7 points, but wow, that is not what you expected when you played Kyler Murray this week. And then a couple more honorable mentions for Lockett and Jacobs. So for those of us who had any of those players on our team, those of us who had multiple of those players on our team, it was not a good week.
I like how you said Judah got to enjoy Ezekiel Elliott on multiple levels. That was because he traded him, but then he has him, and you had him, and then it's just crazy and fun. And by
Judah and I are all over Zeke. We'll just put it that way. We both, really have a lot of stock in Zeke, and so far that stock is tanking.
Well, you also said earlier that you and I both had more than one person in the bust category, whether it was himself or multiple other players in audible mention in the bust. But speaking horrible.
No. On that note, I would also like to just acknowledge and say thank you to Connor for trading me Tyler Lockett, who's been complete crap ever since we made the trade. I think I would have been better off keeping Kittle and having him be injured so that I wasn't playing him every week. So thank you for that, Connor.
By the way, did you hear that Kittle's going to try to make a return this season?
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know. But wouldn't that be great if Kittle came back and like Connor beat you down the road because he had Kittle and you had Lockett? Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be, except Connor's not going to be in the playoffs.
Are you going to be in the playoffs in that league?
Who knows? We'll see.
What if you guys met in the last place game and he beat you at George Kittle? Anyways, let's get away from that and talk about the youth league matchups. And the first one is our friend Connor and his team CMC Likes Tea. And I think that's an homage because Christian McCaffrey is just sitting around drinking tea. That was like marijuana, but it's like drinking tea is like that one.
He's drinking some marijuana.
It's late at night. We've had a lot of problems this week, so let's move on. You've been drinking marijuana the way you're carrying. Anyways, Connor.
For anybody who was wondering, this is tea. All right, this is. Next time somebody comes to your house, ask him, "Would you like some tea?"
No, I was trying to do the pinky up like when people were drinking tea, and I accidentally did that.
All right.
Can we move on yet? Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
You're like 7 years old right now. So it was Connor versus Casey, and Casey, his team, my fellow Americans, and Casey won 107.5 to Connor's 86.4. So a good almost 20 points, 19 points. And Casey did it. And Casey right now is number 2 in the overall rankings. We'll see where he ends up in the power rankings. But he got to crush Connor. And we're going to get to a little bit more about Connor when we get to the power rankings. But even with Kyler Murray, Casey won because Connor started David Carr, who got 0.6 points as opposed to Murray's 7.9. So if Connor had started any other quarterback, he very well could have beaten Casey and had his 5th win, but that's not what happened. Casey's 8-4, Connor's 4-8. Casey's got an incredible record. Can you believe 8-4?
Yeah. Just as a point of note, who the heck is David Carr?
Isn't that his name?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I think we've well established this year that I don't know. You're the one who's cracking up over there. We've established this year that I don't know anybody's first name. I'm just going to start using the initial or just their last name from now on. So go on.
All right.
I'm sick. Go away. Go do your own thing. Whatever. I don't care anymore.
The next matchup is me, the Dallas Cowboys offense.
Nobody wants to listen to the next matchup because they're sick of you. At least I am.
Well, I think they'll be happy with this matchup because it was me, Dallas Cowboys offense versus Nelson, the fantasy football team.
Wait. Hold on a second. We got to go back for a second because I forgot something.
Oh, yeah. Connor, I think you should write. I think you should write.
Hold on. You got to wait for the whistle to stop.
I think Connor should write David Carr and tell him how crappy of a quarterback he is.
David Carr. Thank you. Derek Carr. I will try, but I'll probably forget. So continue with the other matchup already.
All right. So the next matchup, like I said, me, the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the Nelson, the fantasy football team. Nelson beat me 120-93, pulls him to 9-3. He is first in the league. drops me to 6-6 and makes me questionable for the playoffs.
I think you're questionable just on principle, but that's a different story. Are you done already?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, that's all we're doing here, right?
That's fine. But this next matchup, that's not all we're gonna do because it was a battle, a father versus son, a battle for the ages. Judah keeping up with the Jones versus Joneses, which was me. It was a great matchup because Judah got 90.16 points, which was amazing. And thankfully, I got 141.9. So I beat him by basically 52 points, Judah. Judah, only 52 points. I beat you. And that's what I got to say.
How do you like them apples?
Could you hear that? I said, how do you like them apples, Judah? How do you like them, Judah? How do you like them apples? Do you like apples? I beat you by 52.
Yeah. Judah,
And
Judah, he's got your number. How do you like them apples?
what I liked about Judah's team is he started Cam Newton, who got him 4 points. His namesake, Aaron Jones, 9 points. That was amazing. The rest of his team was horrible. And of course, I had the stud. So I beat him basically with Tyreek Hill and one arm time behind my back because Judah's team stinks. And his team is so bad, he changed his team name. What was it, the Flaming Turd? Yeah.
Yes, the Flaming Turd.
Flaming Hot Turd is what it is now.
Flaming Hot Turd. Good.
Judah's team is a Flaming Hot Turd.
Yet you guys' records are the same. So, all right, the next matchup.
Why do you gotta say stuff like that? I just won. I had a victory. I had 150 points basically, and you're comparing me to a flaming hot turd.
It was just an observation. I mean, I was just saying it in passing.
Observation. Keep your observations to yourself and do the next matchup.
It was just I've just said it in passing, just an observation.
You didn't say it in passing. You said it to get my goat. Did you ever hear that saying, get my goat?
Yeah, I mean, you were mocking me for the whole hammer and tongs thing. I'm not sure anyone other than anyone who grew up in Central Illinois on a farm knows get your goat, but yeah.
So my 8th grade band teacher, whenever he got mad at us because we weren't paying attention, which of course I was paying attention, but he'd always yell at us, "You're trying to get my goat." Like, no, in 8th grade, you're not trying to make the teacher mad. You're just an 8th grader.
I bet
you're purposely making me mad.
I bet Andy with the name Jurassic Shark knows about getting your goat. Sorry. Unless you've seen the movie, you won't. Nobody will get it. So all the youth will be like, especially Abby and Isaac, they'll be like, "That was lame." So there you go.
That's from the opening of the movie, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
All right. Anyway,
shoot her! Shoot her!
No, that's from when
I know, but later on is when they're in the thing and the guy's on the toilet and then the whole thing and the thing and it all in the goat.
But the goat part is when they actually put the goat out for the T-Rex, right? But anyway.
Yep. But I like the part where the guy's on the toilet and the T-Rex gets him anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
So the next one is the next matchup is Abby Gibson Gamer, which is my gamer profile. So she goes with that. And it's also for Antonio Gibson on her team. So
why is your game profile Gibson? Oh, guitar. Okay.
Yeah, come on, John. Come on.
Hey, I was trying to make Antonio Gibson into your game and your tag, and I was like, why you see how I got Antonio Gibson's name right?
I know, it was good. So anyway.
I think I said Anthony Gibson one time before that.
I think so. Abby Gibson Gamer versus Tristan High. And was this really ever going to go any other way? Abby pulls off the win. Tristan is not changing his team. He's got someone on IR in his lineup. But
the worst thing about that is that Connor still scored less than Tristan. So Tristan started his team. He's got in his starting lineup, and he still outscored Connor. Sorry, Connor.
Yeah. I think it was only fair, though, because Abby posted a 0 from one of her players as well, because Julio Jones did not wind up playing at the last minute.
Jones.
But Abby pulls to 7-5. Tristan drops to 4-8. 115 points to 107 points. So Abby is definitely in the playoff hunt, likely making the playoffs. But now with Will Fuller being suspended, that is not good for Abby. But we'll see how it goes.
I did like the Judah's suggested name for her, but she did not like Judah's suggested name for her team.
Yeah, she did not like that. She apparently liked the suggestion of throwing 43 cups of water in my crotch, but not the suggestion of the Pill Fuller name.
Our last matchup of the youth league was Brody X Factor versus Isaac Obi-Wan Mahomey. And unfortunately for Isaac, he had one of the highest scores this week. But fortunately for Brody, he was the juggernaut.
Woo!
And apparently Brody is raw power. If you didn't know, Brody equals raw power. He's the juggernaut this week. You usually hold this up so I can talk about the team. Can you hold this for a second?
I'll hold it, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work. Thanks a lot. So
You're
anyway,
welcome.
Brody, here's his team, which was really good. And we're going to talk about this more a little bit later, but he's got a bunch of guys coming back. Deshaun Watson, finally back to life after they fired his coach. Austin Eckler's back. Devontae Parker got. A.J. Brown, who was injured. Even Evan Ingram. And Young Uku, 19 points. He gets an honorary butt kicker award because he got the kicker award. 19 points from his kicker. 169.72 versus 117.18. And again, Isaac, not too bad of a score, but he ran into the juggernaut. So that means Brody has gone all the way up. He shot up this league standings because he's at 5-7. And unfortunately for Isaac, he's also at 5-7. They're both teams teetering the number 7 and number 8 team in the league. So I don't know what's going to happen to them. What was Isaac's attitude like on Sunday when he lost to Brody?
It was hard to tell. I wasn't really paying attention. But
Was it his usual mopey self?
I'm sure it was his typical mopey self. So I could, he was definitely upset for a couple of plays at the Packer game, something like that. And he was definitely upset at something on the video game. So generally speaking, it was the typical situation.
And he's just generally upset. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
And this isn't going to be any better for him because now it's time for the power rankings. Coming in at number 10, the team we love to torment, it is Connor McCarty. CMC likes T because he was the caboose and had fewer points than Tristan, so he deserved to be in 10th place. Speaking of 9th place, I got ahead of myself. It's high, not the tea drinking high, but high, H-I Tristan. Just because he doesn't change his team, he's got Joe Mixon there, but he's still better than Connor. And like I said, Isaac's not going to like this very much, but he is number 8 in the power rankings because he lost to Brody. Brody's team has been horrible all year, and now they're coming back. No. And this next this next team manager is not going to like her spot either. It's Abby coming in 7th place. And all she did was beat Tristan by 8 points.
How is that? How is Abby in 7th place overall?
Because she barely beat Tristan. If you can beat a guy who's not changing his team, he's got a guy on injured reserve in the starting lineup, you're going to be low in the power ranking. She always argues, but then she comes up losing. Speaking of losing, there's 3 teams in the middle here in the mediocre zone. Guess what? It is Aaron and me and Judah. And right now, Judah is number 6 in the power ranking. Aaron, you are number 5, and I am number 4. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Judah is 206 points behind you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Record is you. 200 points behind you and still 6-6 like you and me.
Yeah.
And so it's incredible. And now actually you're 16 points ahead of me, but since I make the power rankings and we're both tied and there's only 16 points, I'm 4th and you're 5th. But then we've got a surprise guy jumping over everybody and landing in 3rd place in the power rankings. It's Casey. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Casey. He's not a surprise. Sorry, the surprise is coming up in a minute. Casey, though, number 2 in the rankings, number 3 in the power rankings, because he's mediocre like us. This week his points were not that great. He's got 2 more wins than we do, but still. Coming in at number 2, the guy who always thinks he should be number 1, it's the fantasy football team, Nelson. He's number 1 in the rankings, but number 2 in the power rankings because number 1 this week because he went crazy. He's out of control. His team is surging. All of his injured players are back. Free Deshaun Watson. It is Brody, the X Factor, coming in number 1 in the power rankings this week because Brody is out of control and he's going to mop the floor with us. He's probably going to win again this week, make it to the playoffs, and then come in first place. That's my prediction this week.
I don't know about that, but
well, it's my prediction.
yeah, I mean the
You
power.
get to write I get to write one thing in the show, and so it's my prediction. You get everything else because it's always about you and everything. It doesn't matter. So speaking of you, let's get to the men's league first matchup.
All right. Boy, it seems like this is taking a long time to get to the men's league, but here we are for the men's league.
Because we were having fun.
Yes. So the first matchup is Andy versus Dave, Jurassic Shark versus Ain't Winning Jack's son. And Andy pulls off the W, 97 points versus Dave's 82 points. Andy pulls to 8-4. Dave drops to 2-10. Yes, you saw that correctly. That is double-digit losses for Dave.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I mean, yeah. I guess. Was Dave ever mighty this year? I don't know.
Well, not this year, but every year he's like basically number 2 in the league every single year. This year he's like the bottom.
Yeah, Dave has continued to struggle. I think he mentioned that he played. This is really one of those funny situations that what are the odds that this will happen? He was starting 2 wide receivers on a team that had no quarterback. I mean, now that is a rough year right there. So I'm not far behind Dave. But anyway, Andy's award because well, let's start with Dave's award. Because of Dave's award, he didn't have very many points. So we're giving Dave the Meh award. And I would wager to say that's probably how Dave feels about this entire season. And again, I'm not far behind you on that one, Dave, but did not have a great week yet again. Andy didn't have a great week, and Dave could have pulled it off, but boy, did he have some rough weeks from his team. So because of that, Andy, we are giving the Lucky Award.
Chalks, pegs, Lucky.
Because he was so fortunate because Andy tried to be a little bit of a butthole and start the wide receiver who was playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who was throwing the ball to Dave's receivers. And it serves you right, Andy, that he scored minus 2.3 points. And the unfortunate thing is Dave couldn't capitalize on that crap performance. Otherwise, I would have loved it and rubbed it in even farther, Andy, on that one, because that is some
even though Andy tried to put a quarterback in at wide receiver because he was a wide receiver playing quarterback, it backfired, and Dave still couldn't win.
I think that's what it was, right? Is he actually played quarterback, right? That Kenton guy. But if not, oh well, we'll just have some fun at your expense, Andy. Either way, it was fun. So that is for that matchup. Like I said, that brings Andy to 8-4, drops Dave to 2-10. On to your matchup.
And this matchup was a clash of the Titans. It was number 1, Judah Melliott Gibson versus number 2, Eric Plumber's Butts Make Me Nuts, Drive Me Nuts. And it was a close matchup. Neither one had great points, but it was still a good matchup. And Judah ends up with 114.9 to Eric's 110.28. So Judah got the Praise the Lord award because he won by less than 5 points, and he had Kyler Murray with only 7 points, Ezekiel Elliott 2 points, and he still won because Eric and his team got this award.
Wonderful. Activate.
Shape up, octopus.
Form up an ice unicycle.
And we're giving Eric not the Wonder Twins, but the Blunder Twins, because both of his Raiders playing the hapless Atlanta Falcons, Josh Jacobs went out with an injury, only 3.9 points. And then, is it Darren Waller? Derek?
Darren Waller.
I got it right that time. But he traded for Darren Waller to be his stud tight end, got him a total of 4.3 points. Had those guys done anything more, had they each gotten 2.5 points more, they would have beaten Judah. But because they were so inept, Eric gets the Blunder Twins Award. And Judah stays at number 1, and Eric stays at number 2 because Judah's 9-3, Eric's 8-4, but has got a zillion points on his team. So it didn't really matter this week, other than bragging rights that Judah can rub it in Eric's plumber's butt that he won. Well, maybe not like rub it in the plumber's. That'd be gross.
Yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Rub it in the plumber's butt.
You know, some things you say and then you don't realize until after they come out, and work that usually doesn't end well for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I don't want to rub anything in. I don't want to rub anything in a plumber's butt. That's terrible.
Let's move on.
Okay, you don't want me to keep poking at that over and over and over again?
Looking at what exactly?
Ah! Boy, we're a couple of sixth graders, you know. Anyway,
Who started it?
the next matchup is the big one. Everybody was waiting for me to beat Rick this week. Everybody thought that I had the better team and that we were going to put it together.
Nobody thought you had the better team.
Huh?
Nobody thought you had the better team.
Everybody thought I had
Nobody
the better
thought
team.
you had the better team.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, well, this is a no-brainer. Aaron's going to take this one over Rick."
Well, that's true. Rick would only need to score about 15 points to beat your. But
Yeah, but I mean, I had a good chance, and so anyway.
But this is Rick, every week he thinks he's going to lose, and he almost lost this week to you. Is your point?
Yeah, I mean, this was a close one. So it was me. I play ball like a girly versus Rick, styling and profiling. I scored 87.4 points. So great week for me. I mean, 87 points. That's at least getting over 60.
That's a big number for your team.
That's a big number for me. So I'm happy with that. And Rick, beat me out. He had 208.2 points. So he beat me by a little. He beat me by a little bit. All right. And so
it's a little tiny bit.
So for my award, my team was hardly working.
Aaron don't want to work. Aaron just want to bang on the drum all day.
So, I had a little bit of an underperforming week, and Rick though was working. Rick though was working hard, so he got the working hard award.
You tried to shut him down. Guy was on Rick's side this week. Here we go. You can't stop me.
So Rick's team was really working hard, and he put together a good week. And then he wound up beating me. So fair play. Rick pulls to 8-4, and I dropped to 4-8. And so there we go.
So working hard, hardly working. Let's get to the next matchup.
Oh, wait.
Did we miss something?
Did we miss an award?
Did something happen this week that's never happened in the league before that we failed to talk about?
I mean, I don't think so, but
okay. Should we go to the next matchup then?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Now, I guess we have to give Rick the Juggernaut.
Andy put in the group text, no higher score in the history of our league.
That is the biggest score I have ever seen. Rick pulls off the Juggernaut.
He didn't pull off the Juggernaut. He suited up as the Juggernaut and went and destroyed the whole rest of the league. He destroyed all of fantasy football.
It's as if the Juggernaut was on the field against me.
You got stepped on and smashed by the Juggernaut himself. But he had Deshaun Watson, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. Dallas Goedert got him 17 points. Will Fuller, even though he got suspended later, got him 33 points. It was incredible.
I've never seen anything like that, where essentially like the three highest scoring players are all on the same team. That was unbelievable. So anyway,
How did it feel to get destroyed by the Juggernaut? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I assume it probably felt like getting stepped on by the Juggernaut himself.
Well, you ready to go to the next matchup? Have we spent enough time on Rick getting the highest score ever, over 200 points, and nobody's ever seen this before? Do we need to talk more about it?
I don't know. Look at me. I'm Rick. I score lots of points. So, you know.
I think we spent too much time on this anyway, and we probably lost most of our viewers by now.
Yeah, because, I mean, who cares? I mean, it's only, yeah, I mean, whatever.
It's probably just Rick watching all by himself and nobody else is watching anymore because all we're doing is talking about him. So we've got to change the subject. Speaking of changing the subject, let's get to my matchup. It was me, Happy Slapsgiving, versus Nathan, the briefcase himself. And fortunately for Nathan, he played me this week. I was projected to get over 100 points, and I got an amazing 87 points. And even last minute, there was a water bet Nathan threw out there, which I picked up the gauntlet because he threw it down because he's willing to water bet people when nobody else in the league other than you and Nathan are willing to do it. And all I needed was like 26 points from Juju Smith-Schuster in the game on Wednesday afternoon, and it didn't quite go that way. And the Steelers barely won anyway. But Nathan, 107 to mine 87. So Nathan goes up to 3-9 in the standings. I dropped to 4-8, but we've already discovered last week you, me, him, and Dave are out of the playoffs anyway, so what does it matter? We both stay at 8 and 9 because he's 9th place, I'm in 8th place, but he destroyed me. And so for his award for playing me, he gets the
Sharks, pigs, lucky.
This is our second lucky award because a couple of people played a couple of really sorry teams, mainly my team and that other team that was sorry that I forget who they were. Hold on. Oh, Dave. So Annie was lucky because of that. But the award that I get this week is a special award. It's the
Whoops-a-daisy. Whoops-a-daisy.
But not just one.
Whoops-a-daisy. Whoops-a-daisy.
I get the double whoops-a-daisy award. I lost by 20 points, but let's do a little bit of math here, young man. I don't know if you're familiar with math in your line of work or if you've ever taken advanced studies in that area. But I got to start this week as a whoops-a-daisy, Clyde Edward-Helaire, who is my #1 overall pick in the league this year. He got me a total of 4.4 points. Had I started Latavius Murray for the Saints, who got 26 points, I would have won. Had I played the backup running back in New Orleans over the starting run back of Kansas City, I would have won. But that's my amazing quarterback who I picked up this week because Tom Brady was supposed to have a bad week play against a difficult defense in Kansas City, and David Carr had a matchup against the Falcons. Did I say David again?
You said David again.
Derek Carr got me 0.6 points. Let's look what Tom Brady get. 22.7. Had I played either one of those two guys instead of the two guys that I played, I would have won. So I get a double whoops-a-daisy award, and I'm going to give an honorary left me hanging to, that's why I call him David Carr, because isn't his brother's name David?
I don't know.
I don't remember. His brother was a first-round pick. But anyways, David Carr, Derek Carr, whatever his name is, send in the car. 0.60 points for my starting quarterback. 0.6, and I lost.
That takes work to get that type of crap week as an NFL quarterback. Wow.
But you need to know how much work it takes for me to drop Tom Brady to my bench, lose another guy off my bench so I can pick up a second quarterback so I can play because Tom Brady's got a tough matchup. And then he gives me 0.6 points against the Falcons. The Falcons are horrible.
Yep. That's how it goes. I remember getting Andy Dalton one year like that. Anyway, the next matchup, this is the last one for the week. And
the last matchup.
What?
The last matchup. I'm repeating what you said.
Okay. Sorry. Something in my throat. All right, here I am. I'm back. Here we go. So
I can take the last matchup if you want.
No, I got it. The last matchup for the week is Randy versus Jeremiah. my new favorite team name of all time, El Viejo Novato, which is, you said the what? The old rookie?
The old rookie in Spanish.
The old rookie in Spanish. Love it. El Viejo Novato versus Exterminate. And both of them, Jeremiah wins this one, 107 points to 76 points. Both of them are at 7-5 now. So both of them are going to make the playoffs pretty easily.
And we don't like either of them because they're both 7-5.
Yes. But Jeremiah, for his award, he gets the win. He gets the Wonder Twins award.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
And he gets it for Patrick Mahomes. And
Sorry, I couldn't stop the sound effect.
he gets it for Patrick Mahomes and Kenyon Drake. 33 points and 23 points. That's really the main reason why he won this matchup. But even without those, I think he might have still been okay, because Randy gets the Caboose Award.
He doesn't deserve the full whistle.
I know. He should only...
He's 7-3 with the Caboose. Even with the Caboose, he's still 7-3.
7-5. But yes.
7-5. Whatever. 7 wins is about 56 more than what I got.
I know. And he had 76 points. So that was rough. But again, looks like we know what the playoffs are going to look like in the men's league. It's going to be going in with the number 1 ranking. It'll be Dave. Number 2 will be Nathan. Number 3 will be me. Number 4 will be John, and it'll be a 4. This is what this playoff is going to look like. It's going to be fantastic, because we're actually changing it around this year, where the losers bracket is actually the winners bracket, and that's how we're going to go about it.
Here's the good news. I'm the league commissioner. I can make that happen.
I like it. I like it.
Let's do it.
Anyway, on to our matchups for this next week for our next water bet.
All right. Are you ready to pick the first matchup of the week? We are going Jeremiah versus Nathan. Who you got?
Jeremiah.
I also have Jeremiah. Our next matchup, it is the juggernaut himself against number 2, Rick versus Eric. Who you got?
I'm going Eric this time. I don't think Rick can do it twice in a row.
I unfortunately have to agree with you. So we're not picking any different so far.
Okay.
Next up is the Amazing Dave versus the number 1 team, Elliot Gibson, Judah. Who you got?
I got to go Judah.
Yeah, I'm taking Judah too. This is coming down to just 2 more matchups. All right, Aaron, I play ball like a girly versus the El Viejo Novato himself, Randy. Who you got?
Well, I'm definitely taking Randy. I'm not taking myself. My team is awful.
But he went to Caboose this week.
I should have looked at what his team looks like.
Okay, you take Randy. I'll take Aaron.
Okay. Okay.
Just to mix it up. So I got to write this down because this is really messed up and it's going to hurt my brain. And the last matchup, it is me versus Andy. Who you got?
Oh boy.
I'm projected to get 94 points.
I'm going with Andy.
I'm going to be gutsy, and I'm going with me. I'm going to beat the number 3 team, 8-4, 4-8, and I'm going to go me just to make it interesting. So
I like it.
The matchups we got that are different from each other are, I'm taking you, you're taking Rick. And then in mine, I'm taking me, and you're taking Andy. We have no faith in either one of us. I think that's amazing.
I'm never betting on my team ever. There's no chance.
You could win. Now, if you tank on purpose to win the water bet,
at this point, what's it matter if I tank? So
no, but you need to play. Quit playing like a girly. You got some good. You got Cream Hunt, Dalvin Cook, Alvin
I
Cook.
know. It's fully possible that I
Hey,
destroy.
Fool,
It's fully possible that I destroy Randy next week, but
you gotta
I'm not
put
going to
Brandon
bet on
Cooks.
it.
Put Brandon Cooks in your lineup to win. Now we've really lost all of our viewers, so there's one last thing.
See you next time.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
10, 9, 8.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.